When I did this pour painting, I did the other pour paintings that were on this tray on this side, as you can see where I have some remnants here from them. And this is actually the raised side. And when you flip it over, this side actually is dented in. So this was too thin when I tried to pull it off. Even though I loved this pour, I think this is such a beautiful pour, I was tempted to just try to keep it just on the piece of aluminum itself. But I really want to take this experiment the whole way. And that includes being able to get some kind of skin off of this side that has a raised, the raised pattern on it. I've gotten some pieces off of it, as you can see. And if I can make it work, it would be really, really cool in some jewelry and things like that. So I'm gonna try to pour on top of this and hopefully do a very thick pour. It's harder to do, of course, because of the type of material. It's not exactly flat. And I don't care how much you do that, it's not always going to be flat. So I kind of want to let it be a little concave in the middle. This is going to take a little longer to dry probably than most of my pours, so I'll make sure I put the fan on it when I'm finished, and that should help some. I actually think I'm going to do what I did with, but oh, it's hard to pick that up. That is rather heavy for this hand. It's the 2-week, almost 2-week post-op of the carpal tunnel. You can still see I have some bruising here and some swelling. It mostly doesn't hurt, although sometimes it makes me scream words you don't like to say in front of children. So on those occasions, I just kind of try to let rip as quietly or as loudly as I can, depending on what situation calls for. Oh my. I need to mix up some more of this. I'm going to try and use some of these colors where I'm almost out, so that I can remix these, because once again I am getting ready for another surgery. The left carpal tunnel, and I have no idea how I'm going to handle it. Not the surgery itself, I'm not too worried about that. Strangely enough, I mean, I've been through one of them. It's actually probably one of the easiest surgery I've ever had. Not that it doesn't come out painful and you don't have pain afterwards, and you know, that's just life. Oh, you know, actually I think this would kind of look cool next to that. I'm gonna put some of this bronziness in there. Said I was gonna use a lot of paint. Yeah, I'm worried because I'm having some problems doing things still with the right hand. Like, oh, today I pulled the emergency brake in the car and I thought I was gonna punch my other hand through the roof. And I was using both hands to pull it. That was the scary thing. Yeah. Let's do the cobalt. I'm getting into some really different colors here. Was there a way I could just like sit this so it would just drip, 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 drip. We get at least the majority of it out. I think it's probably the best I'm going to be able to do. I think I want some white. This is a two-handed one, remember? I think I'm going to go with the shifty green. There's not very much of it left at all. So it's time to mix up some more. I don't know how I'll be able to paint after with both hands. I managed it with the one. We shall see. I'm actually kind of stunned that I managed it with the one. And the other thing left is gold. I really like some brown in this one. So if I can get it open, if I can get it open. I can get it open because I didn't close it as tightly this time. Some brown. That's a color a lot of people don't have in their pouring colors, it seems. And I really like browns. I have seen some browns and blues that were good together. Think that'll be enough? Should I give it a drop of silicone? Why not? Actually, maybe that would help it come off. Gave it 2. And that was just what you see on look, I already have paint on mine. The treadmill belt lubricant, and you can get it on Amazon. I actually want to give this a little bitty of a stir. Now that I put that silicone in there, so I'm just going to use this. Something else coming up there. Okay. I think orange would be good in there. I actually think a little bit of orange would be good in there. I didn't say a ton. Just a little bit. All right. So let's see, how we doing here? All right, I am going to flip the cup. It will probably run out because it will not be level. So you just got to kind of expect that that's going to happen. But then it's not that unlevel. It usually, like, that suction or whatever the hell happens. Science-y in there. Alrighty. Now we leave for 5 minutes. Let the paint sink down. Mix together and make all of its fabulous shapes and colors. Back in 5. Alright, it's been 5 minutes. So let's see what this does. I'm actually going to do this. All these suckers I gotta wash. Look at that. And that looks really cool. Look where the orange came up. Alrighty, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Alright, here we go. I do like to bring fire to the paintings before I tilt them most of the time. Personal preference. I wondering if I should let this sit or should I? No, I think I'm just gonna go with it. Let's see what I can do. I'm gonna focus on the top this time. Because I want to have a very thick crust, so to speak. Thick skin, excuse me. I want to have a very thick skin on the top. God, I hope I don't lose this blue and orange over here. I really like this. Feeling something like that's gonna happen. I think if we go back this way some. It's got some strange colors, but I kind of like it. And it's going to be a little thick in here. We're probably going to get some really cool cells because it's so thick, but it is going to take a long time to dry, and it will probably crack. I have a habit of filling cracks in with like gold or silver or something like that, and just to making them a part of the painting, because I kind of like the imperfection. I kind of like the cracks. I kind of like how they look sometimes, and sometimes you just want to leave them. And sometimes you wish you could find a butane torch made for people with really bad hands. Yeah, okay. Okay, now that we've spread everybody out here, I can just barely hold on to this. That's about the extent of what my hand feels like it can handle right now. Okay, I like that. Like I said, I wasn't worrying about the sides. So like over here, I have a bare spot. I'm really worried. I'm just want what's going on in the middle. And I'm hoping it's going to be really cool underneath. And I'm going to get the pattern that I want. Because it needs to be very thick. I'll get some close-ups and then I'll turn the fan on and we'll see what it looks like when it's dry. So welcome back. This is a day after letting that dry. I'll give you a few close-ups of this as well. It is not completely dry. It has a dry skin on the top of it. You can see in places where it's cracked, which I told you we were to expect with something like this. And then, of course, it is thinner on the edges here than it is in the middle. And the middle is not completely dry yet. If I press, you see it moves. I'll see if I can zoom in so you can see that. So what's on the top isn't going to change, but it still needs to dry at least another day, possibly 2, before I try to peel it. And it's possible this won't be thick enough when it's dried, and I might have to try a 3rd pour over it. If that happens, then that happens. I will work with it. Because that's what artists do, right? They figure things out. We're the ones who think out of the box. We're the ones who come up with resolutions for things. Artists are very underappreciated. In the United States especially, unless you're making a lot of money, artists are very unappreciated. So anyway, I am going to move this aside so it will dry somewhere else. Because it's not going to move around at all right now. It's just a little bit squishy in places. So I'm going to put this aside, let it dry. Might decide to fill in the cracks with the silver or gold, like I said in a previous video. And then I have all of these cups that I let dry overnight that I'm hoping I will be able to peel the skins out of. Because washing them is such a pain in the butt, but peeling them is not. Yeah, it's gonna work. I like when things work. Alright, see? Woohoo! Way better than washing these in a sink and then getting your sink clogged and then having to get the sink unclogged and, you know, all of those things. So I have a bunch of these to peel. Before I have the surgery on the left hand, because right now as I'm doing this, my left hand is going numb. Especially the little to middle fingers right now. But as you'll notice, this is the surgery hand. This is the hand I had surgery on. And while I can do a lot of things with it, there are still a lot of things I cannot do with it. It takes a couple of months for full healing, even though all I have is this Band-Aid here. Where the incision was. So, this is exciting. So I'm going to clean off all of these, and then I'm looking at this acrylic skin that I'm cleaning off of them. There's not a whole lot you can do with them. They won't be thick enough, but, beads, maybe? Stick a hole through them and make beads out of them? That might be an idea. I like reusing things. Have you figured that out yet? Alright, so we will check back in on this probably in a couple of days, because I'm getting ready to have the 2nd surgery and I will not be paying attention to this probably for a couple of days, which is fine because it's just going to sit and dry and nothing's going to happen to it. So probably a couple days after my surgery I will come back and I will show you what this looks like, and if it's still not thick enough to peel off, we will try another pour on top of it. Only this time I will actually be able to do it probably with my dominant hand and not with my left hand, which is going to be the one that's hurting worse probably at that point. Alright, let's put this aside, and I'm going to get to peeling off of these acrylics here and mixing some more paints up, so I won't have to worry about that when I'm recuperating from the surgery. So I'm going to move this over. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Let's see if we can get a closer look at it here. And then we'll put it aside. Alright, so this is the the tray. After I poured a second time over that fabulously beautiful, with all the lovely little cells and everything, well, it wasn't thick enough to pull off of here. This is the, I would say, the positive side. It's raised, so I'm looking to get this pattern, but raised instead of embedded in the acrylic skins. So I took an X-Acto knife and I cut around the corners here because I figured most of the paint is in the center part here, so it was going to be the thickest and the best opportunity to have to pull up the design. So see how that's a positive on there? Because this is raised. I'm getting, this is a, because this is sunken in, I'm getting a positive relief kind of the pattern here. And be kind of careful, but I did, like I said, cut around the edges. And of course, as you can see here, I'm not exactly hand proficient because of the two surgeries. So taking my time pulling this off, as you should anyway. Get as much as you can in one skin without having to have too many breaks in it. You're bound to have a few. And there are going to be some spots that are lighter than others. Have a lighter skin on them. As you do like this, they're going to be harder. You see how this even, it's lighter over here where I cut. It's still not going to come off. So getting harder down here. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Wait, I'll show you that in a minute. I just want to do my best to try and get this off of here without distorting. There we go. There we go. That's pretty good. I got that off of there pretty well. Alright, I'm actually going to peel the edges off of here later if I can, but I'm not going to worry about them now. So here is our skin. This is what was on the top side. You can still see some of the pattern in some of the less thick areas. But if you turn on the other side, this is all raised. Oh, that's going to look so good on a piece of jewelry somehow. What I was oohing and eyeing over was this whole section here. Look at all of the little lines and the different colors. And like I said, this is all raised. So I'm excited to try this again because it actually worked very well. You just need to have a very thick layer of paint. And for me, I tried to pour so it looked cute on top too, but it was most important how the paint looked underneath because this is the side that you're going to tend to use more. So I'm excited to eventually, once my hand feels better than it does today, make, yeah, that was going to come off anyway, make some jewelry out of this. So I'll be excited to bring you along for that one, but it did work. And I'm curious to see how it's going to look later on.